I'm going to ask several questions. I'm going to give each team an opportunity, maybe a minute or so, just to speak, articulate, share with each other your responses to the questions. And then in a very quick, round-the-room, freewheeling fashion, you're going to be able to share one or two of your comments with each other to the wider group. So here's the first question. What elements, what manner of relating to each other really enhanced and engendered all these creative ideas? There was a lot of really interesting, outlandish, creative thinking going on. Wait a second, you're not going to tell me. I want you to talk with each other. Come up with just a couple of explanations for each other. What contributed in the way you related to each other to this stepping outside the box creative thinking? Take 1 minute, talk with each other about it. The way you related to each other, what was different about it?
We think we kind of fed off the kinetic energy of being outside and not, seated and restricted. And having said that, then as we threw out ideas, we really didn't know what the end would look like. And we turned around and we didn't poo-poo anybody's ideas.
Okay, this kind of open-ended thinking. You had a general sense at the beginning, but you really didn't know where it was going to lead to, and you let it fly.
It was uncertain but not threatening, so we were relaxed and enjoying it while we were having fun while we were doing it. Good.
That's a good, uncertain but not threatening. Excellent. Right over here.
No bad ideas.
That's really important. No bad ideas. Bad ideas, judging each other's ideas in a qualitative sense is the surefire way to destroy a team. Give people a hearing, but then there's going to be collective agreement. That's fine, but we're going to go this way. It's the qualitative judgments that shut people down. That's a really important one. Yes. Over here, anybody else? One.
We wrote a clear contract that everybody followed.
Okay. Everybody sort of knew the game plan in terms of what we were doing and how we were going to treat each other in the doing of it. And if the nice thing about having some clarified norms, they don't have to be written, but if they're recognized and understood, that when someone does stray from them, it doesn't have to be me, it just says this is an agreement. Now if we want to change the agreement, let's talk about it right now and change the agreement.
Well, in our group, we kind of adapted as we went. So once people's strengths emerged, we allowed them to kind of change jobs, or we geared a little bit more towards playing towards their strengths.
Right.
Rather
Okay.
than force-fitting things into
Okay. Flexibility. Flexibility in terms of how you're going to work, what the work's going to be, and the ability to change midstream. You see, like this isn't working. Here's a better arrangement, and you can make that
I
adjustment.
think the general positive attitude in our team helped us a lot. I don't think in our group we heard no once.
We actually sat down before we left and aligned and made sure that we all knew what we were doing.
Okay.
And then we just kind of, when we got out on the streets, we just went with it. It wasn't a set plan, just kind of ad-lib, took input from everybody, and just kind of went with the flow, and it all came together.
If an outside observer was following your team, what would the outside observer see as your team's greatest strength? Not your opinion, the outside observer's opinion.
We were having fun, laughing, enjoying ourselves.
Yeah, having fun.
Yep.
I mean, it's when you're working on a difficult task, it can't be all fun. But if there isn't a little humor and fun interjected into it, sooner or later that team's going to burn out. Different combinations of people have very distinct personalities. Like the group has a collective personality that's a composite of all the individuals. So when you're working in an organization where there's lots of different teams and maybe they're working side by side on similar initiatives that have to jive together, one team may operate in a way that seems so completely different than the other, and even at odds, and yet it's based on what their capacities, what their interests, and what's workable. And the end product can be achieved by both groups. So you don't have to have a hard and fast rule that, like, this is the way you must work. Each team is going to discover their own best optimal way of interacting and getting the job. What single element of the way you interacted most engendered team trust? Because without team trust, you've got nothing when it comes to a group. One single element that most engendered team trust. Flexibility. Flexibility. Okay. Flexibility, freedom. Also, flexibility enables people to stick with the spirit of what's being done, but to twist, stretch, bend, reconfigure the rules so you can get the job done. Without flexibility, you're going to have a mediocre product or worse.